Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9th Annual California Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the California Museum. At this time, please silence your cell phones. To safeguard tonight's medals and inductees, please welcome the California National Guard. Again, please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Governor of California, the Honorable Edmund G. Brown, Jr., and First Lady Ann Gust Brown. And now, please welcome the 9th class of California Hall of Fame inductees. David Hockney. Bruce Lee, represented by his daughter, Shannon Lee. Dr. Ellen Ochoa. Buck Owens, represented by his son, John Owens. Lester Holt. Kristi Yamaguchi.
I love his shoes. Check out Robert Downey shoes.
Robert Downey Jr. And Charles M. Schulz, represented by his wife, Jean Schulz.
Stand by for final review. And go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our talented MC for the evening, Museum Board member, Dina Eastwood.
Hello. Wow. We are in the presence of true greatness. Governor, First Lady, and distinguished honorees and guests, and all of you here tonight, welcome to our beloved California Museum. Woo! 2015 marks the 9th California Hall of Fame induction ceremony in which we honor remarkable Californians of the past and present. This state is extraordinary, as we know. It's literally the birthplace of the future. And believe me, we have thousands upon thousands of remarkable, accomplished candidates to choose from every year for this incredible award. I'm always amazed that we can even narrow down the field. It's daunting. To receive one of these awards is to reach a very special place in the hearts and the minds and the lives of the proud people of this state. It is such a special honor. Since 2006, we've honored nearly 100 trailblazing, world-changing Californians, and tonight, as you see, we add 8 more to that list. These people bring the California spirit to life. Absolutely. In addition to this evening's inductees, I'd like to acknowledge some very special guests we have and thank them for being here tonight. First of all, Secretary of State, Mr. Alex Padilla. Insurance Commissioner Dave Jones is here. And this is pretty cool. We've got North and South represented. The Consul General of Mexico, Alejandra Garcia Williams, is in the room tonight. Thank you for being here. As well as the Consul General of Canada, Mr. Brandon Lee. Thank you so much. We also want to take a moment to recognize our past Hall of Fame inductees and some of their family members who we're so honored to have here tonight. It's really cool. Once you get into this club, we don't let you out. And we take all your children and your grandchildren and we make you come every year. We have Lisa Demetrios, who is the granddaughter of Charles and Ray Eames. Thank you for joining us tonight. Bob Warren, the son of Earl Warren. Thank you. Elaine and John LaLane, wife and son of Jack LaLane. Yay! Fred Ross Jr., who's the son of Fred Ross Sr., is here tonight. Thank you for coming back. Thrilled that you're all here and that we get to enjoy this in such an intimate setting. It really is life-altering. I've been lucky enough to be at every ceremony except for one since it started, and it's my favorite thing of the year. We'd like to introduce somebody to you with a very special connection to the museum, a man I've just mentioned, who we're going to meet in a different way right now, Secretary of State, Mr. Alex Padilla. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, everybody. Well, we're here to celebrate, aren't we? Good evening, everybody. All right. I want to thank Dina for that introduction. It's my first Hall of Fame Awards. It's my first year as Secretary of State, so welcome to the building. And A very special and heartfelt welcome to the Governor and our First Lady of California. Thank you so much for championing this award ceremony. And to this year's inductees, thank you for what you do. My fellow constitutional officers, Dave Jones was introduced earlier. Welcome to the Consuls General and to the Museum Board of Trustees and to everybody watching from home tonight on the California Museum YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us in this evening's celebration. As Secretary of State, there's a number of official responsibilities that I have. Among them, I am the official custodian of the state's archives and administrator of this building complex that we're all in today. And you know, what better way than through the museum and through the Hall of Fame Awards and to celebrate the partnership of California's official state history and records and the commitment to civic engagement and civic education in California than this celebration in of itself. The Hall of Fame Awards tradition of honoring individuals who embody the true spirit of California is exactly in the center of that mission that lies in state statute. And I got to tell you, this is my first year as California Secretary of State. I shared with the governor a few stories of my trails on the campaign to be elected to this office, where I visited all 58 counties, all corners of California, getting a much deeper appreciation of California history and California's people. And nothing embodies that spirit of the West, of California, of all that is possible and being able to achieve the American dream than the cross-section of experience and contributions that our inductees represent here this evening. So to all of you, not only congratulations, but genuinely and sincerely a thank you, because as we honor you, you allow us to share your story. And through the exhibits, and for all the visitors who will come to this building and through the museum over the next many, many months, we are able to teach them, especially the young people, through your example. You allow us to inspire them through your example and continue to keep that spirit of California alive for future generations. In closing, I want to give thanks again to the governor for his support, to the legislature for their support, not just of the award ceremony and the museum itself, but to everything that we do here, Department of Parks and Recreation, and a special shout out to the executive director of the museum, Amanda Meeker, and to all the board members that are present. So congratulations again to the inductees. Thank you all for being with us. Let's move on with the celebration. It's now my honor and privilege to introduce the chair of the Museum Board of Trustees, Richard Costigan.
Well, good evening. It is, as always, an honor to be here. First, I would like to acknowledge the tremendous leadership of the California Museum, including the Governor and the First Lady. Without your support and Nancy McFadden's, none of this would be possible. So thank you both, and thank you very much. I'd like to thank my fellow board members. So if you could just stand very quickly, if you're a board member, very quickly. Thank you. And while the secretary stole a little of my thunder, I would like Amanda Meeker to stand up for those of you that don't know her. She has done a tremendous job. In fact, I asked her, I said, we haven't heard from Nancy. Is everything going okay? So I'd like to thank all of the museum staff and volunteers, our faithful and committed donors. Tonight is a very special night, but all year the museum actually conducts enrichment activities and educational programs. But without your sponsorship and without evenings like tonight, we would not be able to do any of that. So tonight, we'd like to give special thanks to our Hall of Fame presenting sponsors, Comcast, NBC Universal. Visit California. I would also like to thank our sponsors, PG&E, Univision, and the California Endowment for making tonight possible. Also, as you enjoy tonight, the drinks and beverages, please know that all those people have contributed in their own way, and we do appreciate our in-kind vendors. I am very proud to be part of this museum. It has never failed to inspire me by the incredible lives of the inductees and see them receive the Spirit of California medals, which itself was designed by 2008 Hall of Fame inductee Robert Graham. Where is Mr. Graham? Thought he was here this evening. Kevin, got to work with the talking points. We have an amazing evening planned for you tonight during the after party, which I hope you will all stay for. We hope that you will tour the museum to learn about our great state, everything that we have. And it is now my pleasure to introduce one of our presenting sponsors, Mr. Ted Girdner.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, everyone. Very excited to be here on behalf of Comcast NBC Universal. We are truly privileged to be honoring the California Hall of Fame's 9th class of inductees. Extraordinary leaders that have made an exemplary impact on all of our lives. Our inductees tonight embody California's spirit of innovation, and we salute the remarkable contributions that each of you have made in our state and beyond. Each of you will continue to inspire thousands of children that will visit the California Hall of Fame exhibit as they learn about your life and your accomplishments. Investing in education of our children is a top priority for Comcast NBC Universal, and it's the reason we're a proud partner of the California Museum. It offers extensive educational programs that provide teachers with curriculum that aligns with the Common Core and state standards, as well as opens its doors to more than 65,000 students on field trips, the majority of which are from low-income families that are visiting a museum for the first time in their lives. The profound impact that the California Museum makes in the lives of these young students, especially when they visit the California Hall of Fame exhibit, is shaping that perception of possibility of what they can each do in their own lives. Through our support tonight, Comcast, along with all of the other sponsors, are making an investment in California's youth, our future leaders, and our future California Hall of Fame inductees that we'll see down the road. Thank you for inspiring us and our future generations. Comcast NBC Universal salutes all of you up here on stage. And we do send out a special salute to a member of our family, Mr. Lester Holt, being inducted tonight. I'm personally deeply grateful to each of you for all you've done for our great state, and thank you for the opportunity to partner with the California Museum here tonight. Enjoy the evening.
As a nonprofit, how lucky are we that we don't have one but two presenting sponsors? It's my pleasure to introduce to you Carolyn Batetta from Visit California, our other presenting sponsor.
Hello, and good evening, everybody, yet again. And Visit California is also thrilled to be here and be an incredible partner of this celebratory event. Whether it's dreamers or artists, explorers, journalists, great athletes, entertainers, California is the quintessential land of dreamers. Whether born here, a transplant, or journeying from afar, dreamers and doers find no other place on earth as inspiring as California. Tonight's inductees are trailblazing Californians. I think we've heard that word a few times tonight. And they've inspired people from all over the world to come here, actually. So I just also, on behalf of Visit California, want to thank you all and appreciate, and we honor you as ambassadors to the world on behalf of California. Because you really do make dreams a reality. And it's this very special place, actually, that's fostered creativity and innovation, a place where you don't just dream, you dream big. Our inductees have brought to life a culture of possibility, for sure, and an insatiable demand for the California lifestyle across the globe. Who would think that as Californians, we were able to just monetize a culture that now brings in $120 billion a year into the state every year? And thus, you have the perfect pairing with Visit California in the Hall of Fame. So tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing Governor Brown and, of course, First Lady Ann Gust Brown, who I'd like to thank so much for continuing this great tradition. As the state's only 4-term governor, he understands California's innovative spirit and ability to reinvent itself, which makes this place a special place where dreams come true, a one-of-a-kind, international and cosmopolitan destination. I've really been humbled and have had the good fortune to travel with the governor and the First Lady globally to showcase California to the world. So I'm so honored to introduce him again tonight, and I'm really just happy that I don't have to do this in Mandarin or Spanish. So please join me in English in welcoming our Dreamer-in-Chief, Governor Brown. Thank you so much.
No, I'm not Dreamer-in-Chief. I'm the Chief Executive, please. But dreams are good. Dreams are good. And I was just thinking, as we think, when we think Hall of Fame, we think innovation, but we think part of our past, our tradition. And I was just musing, as I was listening, on my own forebears, my great-grandfather that came to Sacramento in 1852. So I've been here a long time, at least in spirit. But he didn't stay that long because the floods, and as our family tells it, the mosquitoes. So he went up to Calusa, out a little west, where it was hotter and drier. Now my father, the grandson of this great man, he didn't like to go out to this hotter and drier land. What he told me as a young boy, he said, "Son, too many rattlesnakes and too hot." But as good Germans, we still have that land and we're not giving it up. And it is nice to walk in the very footprints of your grandmother and your great-grandfather. It's very, very meaningful to me. So I want to say one more thing by way of introduction. I don't know if everyone would agree, but I am very inspired by something Robert Frost put in the introduction to his collected poems. And he was describing how he made a poem. Well, how did the poem work? How did it go? And he said, a poem begins with a question, and then, like a piece of ice on a hot stove, rides on its own melting, and then ends in wisdom. Now, I don't know if everyone feels they're like a piece of ice on a hot stove, but I've always viewed my political career in those terms. And I just keep rolling across that stove. Luckily, it was a solid piece of ice, so it hasn't completely melted. Part-time California resident David Hockney has proven to be a full-time master of bringing California's beauty to the canvas. And not only to the canvas, because he works in fax machines, iPhones, iPads, video, the whole gamut. He's a native of England. He first visited Los Angeles in 1964, and I might say, David, I followed you in 1965. And not only did I follow you to Los Angeles, I followed you to your neighborhood. Yes, Laurel Canyon. And why did I go to Laurel Canyon? Because I heard that's where the hippies were. That's where the artists were. That's where all the, I won't say what else was there, but it was very, 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 very exciting. But I left. and glad I did, because I met my wife in San Francisco. So, for the art world, David Hockney coming to Los Angeles was like Ansel Adams going to Yosemite. A master had found his muse. The light and the color of Southern California were there for everyone to see, but the eye of genius is different, and the common and abundant elements inspired Hockney to create brilliant, stylized canvases of the Southland. Hockney's landscapes are nature as it aspires to be, with bold, color-saturated blocks and ribbons that transfix the viewer and unlock a different view of terrestrial beauty. The swimming pool, a symbol of the Southern California he knows, comes to life with Hockney's brush, with deep and serene blues, warm aquas, subtle shadows, and electric lattices of reflective sunshine that sparkle on the surface. And I want to just say here, I grew up in the fog of San Francisco, really foggy. And we would go every summer to visit Marin County, or as we said, down the peninsula. And we'd always visit people who had a swimming pool. And I kept badgering my father, Dad, buy a house in Marin County so we can have a swimming pool. So when I see that swimming pool, that means a lot. That was not just Southern California, that was getting out of the fog, which I don't know that I've attained even now. So these paintings are masterpieces of understanding and invention that have earned David Hockney widespread admiration and respect from art critics and the public alike. To get an idea of Hockney's stature, listen to this partial list of museums and galleries that have hosted exhibitions of his work. The San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, Los Angeles County Museum of Art, Metropolitan Museum, New York, Tate Gallery, London, Museum of Fine Arts, Boston, and National Portrait Gallery, London. Most recently, David Hockney, A Bigger Picture, a major exhibition of his landscape paintings, opened at the Royal Academy of Arts, London in 2012, and traveled to Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, and to Museum Ludwig in Cologne. David Hockney, A Bigger Exhibition, opened at the De Young Museum in San Francisco in 2013. David Hockney is also a skilled draftsman, printmaker, stage designer, author, and photographer. He's a magnificent and multifaceted talent. Besides his spot in the art community's pantheon, he has won numerous honors and awards, including the Order of the Companion of Honor from Her Majesty the Queen, the Order of Merit, and honorary degrees from Oxford, Cambridge, and Yale. And, significantly, my wife, who worked at the Gap she worked at the Gap for longer than she has been married to me, as a matter of fact. But Don Fisher, who was one of the great art collectors, told her when she was working there as the general counsel that she could go downstairs to the art gallery that they have over there at the Gap in San Francisco and pick out any painting she wanted. So she went down and she looked around. No. Right. Not to take home, just to put in her office. Anyway, she went down, and actually she went down even to the storage, because not everything was out and displayed, and she came across a painting from 1988, Interior with Son and Dog. And so she said, that's the one I want, and she put it in her office. Never heard of David Hockney before. And lo and behold, Don Fisher comes by and said, hey, where did that come from? And he put it in his own office. So you may have been honored by the great galleries of the world, but you were first noticed in my heart by my wife, Ann.
So, come on up.
Okay, the state of California honors David Hockney.
this one.
Okay.
This one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a safe bet that if you looked on the wall of any American boy's room in the 1970s, you would find a poster of martial arts legend Bruce Lee on prominent display. In just a few short years, this young Asian American man had kicked and punched his way into the hearts of movie lovers everywhere. Starting in 1971, Lee starred in 5 seminal martial arts films that launched him into global superstardom. Lee came of age before computer-generated images or dazzling modern special effects. These were the stripped-down films of a simpler Hollywood, barely recognizable by today's action movie standards. But that only served to showcase his skill and charisma. In his films, Lee was the special effect. Audiences were left in stunned disbelief at his power and quickness as he stalked the screen like a jungle cat and then exploded into action. They loved his calm bravado and subtle swagger, and Lee had that unteachable, indescribable attraction that made him a riveting figure on screen. California knows movie stars, and Bruce Lee was a movie star in every way. But martial arts were the foundation of his incredible popularity. As a teenager, Lee had trained in Hong Kong with renowned Wing Chun master Yip Man. But just as he was a trailblazer in film, so he was in the martial arts, and Lee began to develop new ideas about his discipline, ultimately creating his own art called Jeet Kune Do, or the way of intercepting fist. As created by Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do and cinema were an electric combination. His landmark films such as Enter the Dragon and The Way of the Dragon are genre classics to this day, and Lee remains the greatest figure in the history of martial arts cinema. One of Time magazine's 100 most important people of the 20th century, a martial arts Hall of Fame inductee with a well-deserved star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Lee's contribution to many fields continue to be strong. Even 4 decades after his passing, he remains one of the most relevant sources of inspiration and motivation to millions around the world. The state of California honors Bruce Lee. Accepting on behalf is his daughter, Shannon Lee.
Okay, you got it. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It is my honor to accept this on my father's behalf. He would have been very, very proud to be honored as a Californian, and some of his biggest challenges and biggest triumphs took place here. So thank you very much. Now it is my honor to introduce Ellen Ochoa. When someone is trying to accomplish the extraordinary, to dream far beyond the limits of reasonable expectation, we tell them to shoot for the stars. It's a saying that reflects mankind's eternal awe and fascination with our cosmos and the vastness that has kept it a mysterious and impossible goal. For Ellen Ochoa, shooting for the stars is merely a day's work. Ochoa, a native Californian from La Mesa, laid the groundwork for incredible right here on Earth. After graduating from San Diego State with a Bachelor of Science and then earning a PhD in electrical engineering from Stanford, she became an inventor and holds 3 patents for optical systems. But there is a special class of our best and brightest who are also our most adventurous. It's a marriage of talent and spirit that shatters barriers and opens new vistas for us all. These people are the Hillarys who scale the highest mountains or Magellans who circle the globe. They are the builders and explorers who fill the pages of history books. Ellen Ochoa is one of those rare few. She felt the pull of exploration and science that only space could provide and pursued it. She was accepted into NASA's rigorous and selective astronaut training program in 1990. In 1993, less than a century after the Wright brothers' groundbreaking flight, she shot out of our atmosphere and became the first Latina in space when she served on the 9-day mission aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery. Ochoa returned to space several times and ultimately logged more than 1,000 hours in orbit. She kept her eyes trained toward the heavens when she became the first Latina to direct the Johnson Space Center, continuing to help us all in our mission to understand the glittering arcade of stars that bless our nights. She's a recipient of the NASA Exceptional Service, Distinguished Service and Outstanding Leadership Medals, the Harvard Foundation Science Award, the Women in Aerospace Outstanding Achievement Award, a Hispanic Heritage Leadership Award. The state of California honors Ellen Ochoa.
Thank you. It's a really special honor to be recognized by my wonderful home state. Everything that I've achieved and hold dear has its roots in California. I grew up here with my 4 siblings, 2 of whom are here tonight. And my education, which has really been the key to my career, is all Californian. A good public high school, Grossmont, that has actually produced 3 astronauts. Undergrad degree at San Diego State, which had no tuition when I went there. And followed by Stanford, where I was supported by fellowships. And then my NASA career started in California, and I met my husband here. And I can tell you one of the special treats about being in space was actually flying over California at 5 miles a second, which I believe is faster than Iron Man, I think. And being able to look down on the being able to look down on this state and see the places that have meant so much to me and places that are really distinctive from space, like San Diego Harbor and with a good lens, even the red tile roofs of Stanford. So thank you, Governor Brown and the California Museum. How powerful was the appeal of Buck Owens' music? In the 1960s, his raw-edged brand of country managed to tilt the entire axis of country music away from Nashville toward the oil-soaked streets of Bakersfield. Owens was born in Texas to a poor sharecropper family and started moving west during the Dust Bowl, settling first in Arizona, where he learned to play the guitar and mandolin, then moving on to California. It was in his new home state that Owens would fully develop as an artist. In 1951, he became a popular performer at the local Bakersfield bars and honky-tonks. He formed his own band in 1963 and soon exploded into the country stratosphere. Buck Owens and the Buckaroos had 21 #1 country singles in the 1960s. Their hits, such as Act Naturally, Love's Gonna Live Here, Together Again, and I've Got a Tiger by the Tail, became sing-along classics for country music lovers of that decade and beyond. Owens' twangy, upbeat country music became known as the Bakersfield Sound, and it continues to influence today's crop of Nashville stars. But even with his staggering popularity on the radio and touring across the country, it may be that Owens found his greatest fame on television. In 1969, capping a decade of wild success, Owens became the host of Hee Haw, a fast-paced variety show that delivered a silly slice of cornpone humor to families across the nation. But beyond the humorous look at Southern culture, Hee Haw's core was country music, and week after week for nearly 20 years, Owens and his trademark red, white, and blue guitar gave the American mainstream a taste of the music of the South. Alvis Edgar Owens Jr., known and loved as Buck, earned a long list of awards and recognitions, including the ACM Cliffy Stone Pioneer Award, the ACM Jim Reeves International Award, the ACM Poets Award, ACM Male Vocalist of the Year Award, and Country Music Association Award for Vocal Event of the Year. He is also an inductee into both the Grammy Hall of Fame and the Country Music Hall of Fame. The state of California honors the father of the Bakersfield Sound, Buck Owens. Accepting on his behalf is his son, John Owens.
Wow, to be up here with all these talented people is just an honor, and we thank you very much. Lester Holt. After 50 years of relative stability, the news industry broke into a million little pieces when the internet explosion gave rise to aggregators, websites, blogs, and uploaded videos that push highly targeted news out of every day into every conceivable direction. Consumers were flooded with more choices than they've ever imagined. But within this spiraling environment of change, one institution remained proudly constant. Every night, just as they have for decades, tens of millions of people turned on their TVs and watched the network news. It is the gold standard, the most trusted, respected, and widespread single source of information in America. And that means more people learn about the world from Lester Holt as an anchor of NBC Nightly News than any other in the country. Holt is a newsman of extraordinary accomplishments. Reading through a list of his reportings is to take an inventory on every major story, every hotspot, every crisis, emergency for the last 30 years. For 14 years, he's anchored the evening news and reported at WBBM TV in Chicago, where he covered international troubled areas, including Iraq, northern Iran, Ireland, Somalia, El Salvador, and Haiti. Holt helmed his own Lester Holt Live on MSNBC and was that network's primary anchor for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. For 8 years, he anchored NBC Nightly News, Weekend Edition. For 12 years, he co-anchored Weekend Today, and since 2011, has been the principal anchor for Dateline NBC. During that time, Holt covered the Arab Spring, the massive Gulf oil spring, the Japanese earthquake and its nuclear fallout, Hurricanes Rita, Katrina, and many more. It's no exaggeration to say that the world has been his studio. And now Lester Holt, a native Californian who primarily grew up in Sacramento, has climbed into the most watched news chair in America and become our nation's most trusted voice. Holt's reporting Thanks a lot, I was almost done. I had to say that, I'm nervous. Holt's reporting has contributed to John F. Kennedy Journalism Awards, Daytime Emmys, Reporting Emmys, and News and Documentary Emmys. Here in his hometown, the state of California honors Mr. Lester Holt.
you. Thank you so much. I worked in Chicago and, of course, New York, but I cut my teeth here in California, local radio here in Sacramento and San Francisco, and later TV in New York. And when I left California in 1984, I've been trying to get back ever since. But circumstances and jobs have kept me elsewhere. But in this new role, I'm leveraging it to spend a lot more time here. It's important for me that a national broadcast be a national broadcast. And coming from this part of the world, I know sometimes it seems like the world ends at the Hudson for those of us in the East, and it doesn't. I didn't take a wagon train to get here. We anchored the news from San Francisco tonight. I'll be anchoring it from Los Angeles, and you see me here a lot because not only do I love this state, but it is vital and it's important, and it leads the way in so many areas that are newsworthy. And so I am so proud to call this place home, and I thank you so much for this honor tonight. And I love the eclectic nature of the honorees here, and this is what makes this place so special because it produces so many people of such high caliber in so many disciplines. Just as you might not expect to find a champion surfer in Minnesota or a first-class mountaineer in Kansas, sun-soaked California might not be the first place you think about as a breeding ground for a world champion figure skater. But in the famously temperate Bay Area, native Californian Kristi Yamaguchi became the queen of the ice. Yamaguchi, yeah, go ahead. Yamaguchi scaled the absolute pinnacle of her profession at the age of only 20, winning the ladies singles ice skating gold medal at the 1992 Winter Olympics. She then began a long career as a professional skater where she mesmerized audiences around the world with her graceful, elegant routines. She toured with Stars on Ice for more than a decade, as well as winning numerous professional skating competitions and starring in television specials. Her body of work made her an ice skating icon. She has appeared in International Figure Skating Magazine's 25 most influential names in figure skating list several times, and was named the most influential person in the sport in 2001-2002. Off the ice, Yamaguchi founded the Always Dream Foundation to support educational and recreational activities for children, and is also the New York Times best-selling author of 2 children's books. And to millions and millions more, Kristi Yamaguchi is the season 6 champion of ABC's Dancing with the Stars. Where she proved to everyone that her moves work just as well on the dance floor as on the ice rink. This is a well-rounded woman who has shown herself to be a talented, varied performer with a big heart that has led to an unbroken record of giving back to her community. The 1996 Skater of the Year, an inductee into the U.S. and World Figure Skating Halls of Fame, the United States Olympic Committee Hall of Fame, winner of the Thurman Munson Award and the Asian Excellence Award. Her list of accolades and awards is long and well-deserved, and we're about to add one more here. For the past few years, children have been entranced by the magic of Queen Elsa in Disney's hit movie Frozen, who can bend ice to her will. That is a good description of the real-life magic of skating legend Kristi Yamaguchi, who has inspired and captivated people of all ages with her timeless talent. The state of California now honors Kristi Yamaguchi.
Wow. This is just such an incredibly humbling evening, and so honored to be up here with my fellow inductees into this class. California, I'm a proud California girl, and the opportunities here not only let my family prosper, but their success in turn allow me to pursue my dreams. So thank you, Governor and First Lady, for this honor. On to Robert Downey Jr. now. The proper reaction to learning that Robert Downey Jr. began his acting career at the age of 4 is to feel cheated, that we missed out on 4 years of amazing performances. Robert Downey Jr. has received over 80 award nominations throughout his career. He is a 2-time Oscar nominee, a Golden Globe winner and nominee, a BAFTA winner and nominee, and an Emmy nominee, to name just a few. He has appeared in over 70 films in roles so varied it doesn't seem possible that they were all played by the same man. He's been a puppy, a student, a silent film icon, a 19th century detective, an Australian method actor, and a comic book superhero. He's made us laugh, he's made us love, he's made us cry, and he saved the world. And sometimes all in one movie. There are entire generations that only think of Robert Downey Jr. when the words Chaplin, Iron Man, and Sherlock Holmes are uttered. He doesn't just play characters, he embodies them. He transforms himself into his roles. He's so versatile and talented that he shines in comedies such as Weird Science, Tropic Thunder, and Due Date. Dramas such as Less Than Zero, Chaplin, and The Judge. And action films such as Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and of course the Sherlock Holmes, Iron Man, and the Avengers franchises. He's an actor with seemingly no limitations or shortcomings. And he can also sing. Maybe later we'll hear that. Downey's own life is as fascinating and as complex as a movie script. Like many of his characters, he's flawed and has known hardship and struggles. And also, like his characters, he's emerged stronger and smarter. He would be the first to tell you that adversity helped shape him into the husband, the father, and the man he is today. Downey is a native New Yorker, but for the last 33 years, he's made Los Angeles his adopted home. We're proud to call him a Californian. The state of California honors Robert Downey Jr.
Be seated. I'm sorry if I seem low energy at all. I'm used to larger crowds. I honestly thank you so much, Governor and First Lady. You know, as when I found out that I was going to be amongst all these esteemed recipients today, I really did find, and as some of us have mentioned, it's really quite humbling. It's different to have some of the highs and lows in all of our varied careers, and it's something else to be kind of recognized by your state. I definitely consider myself a Californian. You know, I came out here when I was in my mid to late teens and had some success, and then, as previously mentioned, went on a bit of a NASA program of my own for a while. It really couldn't have happened at a better time. And there's a friend of mine here tonight, Scott Budnick, who produced movies like, you know, just huge movies like Hangover and all this stuff. And he wound up having this term where he really felt compelled to try to be of service to California and get involved in all these programs. And, you know, they used to say, California, come on vacation, leave on probation. But California has been the ultimate place to come, have your defects come to life, and actually have the sort of organizations and the institutions in place to actually be able to get well. Because ultimately, any success you have is only good if you have the health to enjoy it. So I want to share this award with my lovely wife, Susan. I want to welcome myself into middle age and put on these reading glasses. And I could not be more thrilled than to be inducting Charles Schulz into the California Hall of Fame. There is prolific, and then there is Charles Schulz. Over a 50-year period, Schulz drew nearly 18,000 Peanuts comic strips, making Charlie Brown, Lucy, Snoopy, and his other beloved characters, I know all their names, I know every episode, part of our national fabric. Peanuts started small, making its first appearance on October 2nd, 1950, in only 7 newspapers, and then exploded. At its peak, it was one of the most popular comic strips ever created, appearing in more than 2,600 newspapers and being read by more than 350 million people. Think about that in that time, too, in 75 countries and in 21 languages. Schulz's humor, his mastery of human nature, and gentle but biting insights into society made his appeal universal. The appetite for the Peanuts gang was so great that books and merchandise followed the strip's viral popularity growth. I have Charlie Brown PJs. I just want to throw that in. And to the delight of children and grown-ups everywhere, Charlie Brown and crew were featured in a series of Emmy-winning television specials that were phenomenally successful, then that became as much a part of the holidays as carved pumpkins and Easter eggs. It is a rare person who looks at a weak and humble Christmas tree and is not warmed by the memories and lessons of Charlie Brown. The simply drawn characters never faded in their appeal and have made audiences smile through 7 decades. Although it's been 15 years since the last new Peanuts comic, newspapers across the land continue to run reprints of the timeless strip. Snoopy and Friends can still be found on greeting cards, clothing, PJs, food, Christmas ornaments, and a host of other products that are a testament to the incredibly broad and lasting chord that Schulz struck with his creation. The late Mr. Schulz, a longtime Californian, earned a deep and abiding respect from his peers, and they awarded him the highest honors in his profession. In addition, he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, is a commander of arts and letters, and as a proud World War II veteran, he earned a U.S. Army Combat Infantry badge while serving his country. The state of California honors Charles Schulz. Accepting on his behalf is his wife, Jean Schulz.
It's wonderful to accept this on behalf of my husband, whose comic strip brought joy to millions of people around the world. He would be extremely honored to be in the company of these wonderful people who do express the California dream, and he has been here, spent half of his life in California, so he considered himself a proud Californian. Thank you very much.
We'll get this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Dina Eastwood.
Congratulations, one and all. And one more time, please, let's give a round of applause to the class of 2015 California Hall of Fame. Congratulations. If you can remain standing for a class picture, I'm told. On behalf of the museum's Board of Trustees, we'd like all of you to go to the Taste of California party that's happening upstairs. Amazing food, wine, and beer stationed throughout. Go check out the exhibits. We've got beautiful shots of all these wonderful people for you to enjoy in the lobby. As the honorees depart, we all us normal people, stay in the room and let the greatness go first. So if we can all stay seated after they depart. And there they go. Thank you all. Congratulations, 9th class. And thank all of you for being here. Please spread the word at what a wonderful thing this is for our state, for our children, and to inspire ourselves as adults. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you at the wine bar.